Thank you. Where do I? Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Of my mask. Oh, okay. Oh, hi. Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I know you've been waiting for me for so long.
I am.
I'm so sorry for being late. I met the ex-president of Ghana, and he told me that the African diaspora forms the sixth region of Africa. It was something that was signed by the AU, and I never knew that. So I had to do research, and the research led me to you. So my name is WODEMAYA, an African YouTuber who travels around the African continent to show the beauty of Africa. So I wish you can tell me a little bit about yourself, and before you take me around to see whatever that goes on in here.
Well, first of all, Maya, we're so honored to have you. And I want to thank you for what you're doing. You're showing the positive side of Africa. Too often we see war, famines, and AIDS when it deals with Africa. So I think what you're doing is really wonderful, very, very much so. Your mother must be very proud.
It does. I just want to know your story before I go to why the ambassadorial role. So let me know a little about yourself, your full name and where you're from and why Ghana.
I am Erica Bennett. I am the daughter of Desiree and Erie Bennett. I'm a little girl from South Carolina. And I found myself in Accra, Ghana 18 years later. My father was in service, so we traveled all over the world. So the spirit of being able to just get settled, I've always had that because we've never lived any place longer than 3 years. The spirit of Pan-Africanness came from my mother. My mother was very involved with the NAACP, and she was very, very much connected to Africa and always encouraged us to know who we are and where we're from. So that spirit of Africa, I've been in and out of Africa for 40 years now.
40 years?
40 years now, yeah. I'm 70 years old, and 40 of those years have been in and out of Africa. So I feel more comfortable in Africa, certainly, than I do in America.
40 years in Africa. I know definitely you should have an African as a love of your life. I hope I'm not.
I have many Africans. It's the love of my life.
No,
I have to say that. I have to tell you that. I have very special people in my life who has really helped my being in Africa as long as I have. People like Dr. Alhaji Bimanga Tukur, who I have been with for 40 years almost. He helped me, he's from Nigeria. He helped me settle, he helped me understand the different culture. And so he's been a real wonderful support for me for all my 40 years.
I just want to make it clear, which means you married a Nigerian.
I didn't marry him. He is my mentor. See, you're talking to a non-traditional person. I haven't done anything traditional. Let me make sure you understand that. My children, my 10 children, I've adopted some of them. I only had one biological child. The others I've adopted from all the world. So I'm very non-traditional. So you say, when you think of a traditional person getting married, having children, that is not me at all, at all, at all. My children are very dynamic. They're all over the world doing incredible things. Z and Caroline and Mahar is my biological son, and Maisha. And so my life is full of other people's lives. And that's been very, very good to me.
So which means you spend your 30s in America?
Yes.
The first country that you visited in Africa was which country?
Cote d'Ivoire, and then Liberia. Liberia was the first country that I actually settled. I was, if you look at that one up there, I was a community development person for the mayor. And that was my really first job in Africa. And we started an orphanage there. And so Liberia was really, I think, my first real connection to Africa.
And since Liberia, did you ever leave the continent back to the United States?
Well, I go back and forth. I've been back and forth over the 40 years, but Liberia, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, these are all countries that I've visited. I've visited 47 African countries. So I probably know more about Africa, almost as much as you.
No. I can't compare, and I don't even want to compete right now. Well, so let me know, being in Africa as an African American, how has the experience been like?
Well, Maya, being in Africa as an African, it connects you to your roots. You see, I feel good about myself as a woman because of that connection. And I have to say, African women taught me how to be a woman. There's no question about that. You see, the spirit of resilience and the spirit of knowing who you are and the spirit of knowing when you play what role. You know, I know some of the most powerful women here in Africa. And those women, when they're sitting at their positions, they play them well. When they go home, they become mothers and wives. And so that kind of transition is really what I learned from the spirit of the African woman.
Wow, 40 years experience on the continent. It's something that I believe that I would love most of the African diaspora out there to come and experience that 40 years experience, because like 40 years in Africa, it's something that I think, have you ever written any book about your 40 years experience?
Yeah, I do. I've written 4 books. In fact, the first book really talks about my experience in Africa, the good, the bad, the ugly. It talks about all of that. And then the second book that I wrote talks about aging gracefully. How do you age gracefully? You know, we're all getting old, and just little tips on what to do. The book that I'm writing now is Listen to Your Heart. And basically, you know, I had a massive heart attack, and it was because I was a workaholic. I'm just working from Washington to all over the world. And so I didn't take time to really listen to my body. And that's one of the things that I think that we, particularly women, and I think men too, I don't think you really acknowledge what's going on with your body. You just kind of keep going and that kind of thing. So that's what this book is all about, to really talk about how do you stop and listen to what's going on with your body.
It seems I'm concentrating too much on your experience in Africa, forgetting about what really happened to you in America, or what were you doing in America. If you share some of your experiences, what you ever did in America, some achievement you did in America, what would that be?
Well, the first, I think one of my major achievements, you know, is that picture over there with Marion Barry. He ran for his first political office, and I was the youth representative. They didn't know me, but they knew him. And so I ran on his ticket, and I won. And so I've always had the spirit of knowing that I am a black woman and feeling good about being a black woman. So that was really, and then I was exposed to those kind of men and women, you know, the Shirley Chisholms and the Marion Barrys and the Barbara Jordans. These were women who knew who they were and men who knew who they were. So that was, I think, my first basic training, you know, and it taught me a spirit of service, because basically that's why we're all here, Maya, is to serve. You're serving, doing what you're doing. You're exposing people to Africa and who we really, really are. So that's a spirit of service. And so that's how I think I got that in terms of growing up. You know, I worked various companies in America. I worked for the Jimmy Carter, the former president. So I've had a variety of different kinds of experiences and exposure. But what I'm doing now is what I think that I'm destined to do. I think this is my calling that God has directed me to do.
Which means you finally found your purpose.
My purpose, my purpose.
And can you share a little bit about what you do now?
Okay. I am the ambassador for the diaspora. And I'm so glad you had that interview with President Kufuor, because it just kind of led you right here to me.
Exactly.
Basically, what happened was under that watch, under President Kufuor's watch, they decided to do a 6th region in Africa. The AU did. And the 6th region is all of us in the diaspora. See, there's 2 types of diaspora in Maya. There's a continental diaspora, and that's you. That's when you go away for study or work or whatever. That's considered the continental diaspora. Then we have the historical diaspora. That's those of us taken away from slavery. And so the AU now understands to move Africa forward, we need the diaspora. You see, we want to encourage you to get those experiences and then come back home and share it with us. So that's one of the things that happened, with President Kufuor. He gave us this land grant here at the historical W.E.B. Du Bois Center. Do you know W.E.B. Du Bois? Shame, 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 shame.
I'll look into that.
I want you to look.
Definitely look into that.
You must.
I have to. Like I said, I'm that guy who never knew anything about my history. And when I started traveling, that's when I realized that, oh my goodness, what really happened to me? So I'm
the
doing
world
research every day, leading me to one another. So I'm learning doing these videos. If I didn't meet President Kufuor, I would never knew that African diaspora from the 6th region in Africa
existed.
I have no idea. So please, pardon me, don't crucify me right now. I'm still learning.
I will not crucify you at all, Maya, because what you're doing is what's important. You see, and I'm sure there's a lot of Africans who don't know W.E.B. Du Bois. Historically, he is one of the icons of African Americans. He grew up in America, but yet he understood his connection to Africa. And he came to Ghana with Kwame Nkrumah, and he did a lot of support for him as well. And in fact, he actually died here at this center, the W.E.B. Du Bois Center, and it's in Cantonment. And his tomb is here, and some of his writings are here, and all of that. So it's a historical site, and Ghana owns a lot of his history.
Thank you so much for educating me about that. But I want to know, this is the question that almost the entire African diaspora asking me. WODEMAYA, why is it that you always tell us to make Africa home again, but whenever we come to Africa, we don't have automatic citizenship? It seems as if we are not welcome in Africa. There's something that personally I don't even understand. Why should an African American or maybe Africans in the diaspora visit the continent and they need to apply visa before they get here? They're telling them to come back home. Why the visa?
Well, those are the things that we really, really are. And I think one of the things I have to say that Ghana is the most Pan-African country in Africa, very much so, because Ghana has really begun to look at those issues. The president issued a call of come back to Africa, you see, year of return. And a lot of the diasporans came. They did not have to have visas when they came and that kind of thing. So it's a beginning. It's a beginning. You know, I'm certainly not an apologist for African countries, but a lot of times African countries has a lot of issues. You see, ground issues, survival issues. And so the diaspora sometimes is not the priority. And we just have to understand that. But saying that, I think that today, the heads of states, and if you ask me, one of the things I think we've been able to do with this mission is to create the awareness. Now, Ghana now is working on a homecoming bill, where that bill will talk about policies as it relates to the diaspora. What you need to do to get citizenship, what you need to do to get residency. So it will become a law so that there's no confusion about it. Because one of the things, I am a citizen of Ghana. You know, I got my citizenship under the former president. And then this president, he's also given citizenship to quite a few of other diasporians who are here. But these are issues that need to be addressed, and I think that's being addressed.
Wow. And, you know, I know that most of them are coming back because I believe that the revolution is happening. So maybe if you meet them, if you meet the head of state, tell them to fasten a little bit so that my brothers and sisters in the diaspora will join us here.
Fast track.
Continent. But I wish you can show me around your facility.
I will. Okay, this is my office, as you can see. And these are just some of the awards that we've gotten and some of the people. That picture there is the matriarchs make their mark. Okay, and what we do is that every year, every other year, we do an African Women of Excellence, where we highlight things that African women are doing around the world. And this was one of our first ones, and we honored the late Winnie Mandela, the two former heads of states, the Speaker of the House in South Africa, and also the chair. She was the chair of the African Union at that time. And then they stuck me in there as well. They said that these women are one of the most powerful women in Africa. So I'm very honored to just be standing up there with those women. And then, as I said, we have a lot of different programs. One of my heart program is a program called Junior Ambassadors, where we take young people from rural areas and we bring them to, most of them had never even come to Accra. And we bring them to Accra and we do training with them, confidence building, and then we send them around the world. We sent a group to America. We just did a wonderful group with the Colombian ambassador. We work with the different ambassadors in the countries, and then they help support us with the visas and all of that kind of stuff. So that's called Junior Ambassadors. And what you're doing is connecting the young Africans with other young people abroad. Okay. Yeah. And that helps in terms of building their confidence. This first group right there, this was our first group, and we sent them to Washington. Out of those 6 children, 2 of them are now physicians. One is an IT expert in Washington. The other is an engineer in Russia. So all you have to do is really expose children, and you see what they can do. They can reach their potential, because we all can, and we all have a story, and we can all go as far as we feel we can. I'm a little girl from South Carolina, never thought I would be sitting here as an ambassador talking about issues. You know, we do a lot of bridge building, we do a lot of connecting the diaspora with different countries. So it's an exciting journey that I'm on.
I also saw like some walls around. I saw writings on the wall when I was coming in. I don't know if you can tell me more about that.
Yes, we have 2 walls. This wall that I'm sure you saw President Kufuor's name on there, that's called our supporters wall. Our supporters wall is people who've really supported us and who's on our board, people like Reverend Jackson, Ambassador Young. You know, these are people who have really, really helped build us today. One of the things is that we're unique, our embassy, because we don't get money from the governments or we don't take money from the AU, we have to fund ourselves. So we've started a business development area, and we have an economic counselor now who will help us in terms of working with businesses and that kind of thing, so that we can institutionalize it. If you ask me, one of the things that we've done very well is that we've been able to talk to the heads of states, and they all know us now. You know, I can call a head of state and they'll call me back. So, you know, that's the kind of leverage that we have.
Since the government is not supporting you, what can we do as the African diaspora and Africans on the continent to support?
Thank you, Maya. Perfect question. Perfect question. You see, one of the things is that, I mean, donations, they can donate to the mission, they can put their names on the wall. We also now have done this book. This is the Diaspora Africa Forum travel guide. And it will tell them tips about what to do when they come to Africa. It'll tell them things they should not do when they come to Africa. And it talks about some of the historical sites here in Ghana. So this is one of the things. They can purchase this book for $5.
On the website?
They can do it on the website. They can do it.
I believe that most of my people would love to talk to you in person. Is there any way we can, an email?
Yes, they can contact me through my personal email, or they can contact me through info@diasporaafricaforum.org. And also the website. The website is www.diasporaafricaforum.org. Then we have the Sankofa wall. The Sankofa wall is the wall, Sankofa, as you know, means come back to your roots. And so these are the descendants of the ancestors. They put their names on the wall. You know, we have Rosa Parks, we have Bob Marley, we have Marcus Garvey. So all of those, their descendants came and put their names on the wall. We have Michelle Obama. When they came, we put her father's name on the wall, that kind of thing. And then recently we put George Floyd's name on the wall. I don't know if I sent you some of the pictures and stuff. And we did a big ceremony for him. And then we have a wall that we're going to actually put some of the other people who were killed brutally, you know, around the world. We'll put their names on the wall as well.
I believe that we just lost Black Panther hero.
Yeah.
So we should have his name on one of the walls.
We're going to put his name on the Sankofa wall. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
And finally, I believe that as an African diaspora representing African in the diaspora in Africa, I believe that you have a message for all the African diaspora watching us right now. What would that message be?
Come home. Come home. That would be the message. Come home. The kind of life you can have in Africa, you can't have that abroad. You see, the kind of life that I have here, and particularly as a senior, you see, as an elder, I mean, Ghanaians know how to treat elders. I don't stand in lines. I have about 10 people taking care of me. And you feel a sense of purpose. You see, you feel a sense of giving and that kind of thing. So that would be my message, is come home. You see, we don't say everybody run home, but come and see if this fits for you. That's really the key. And I tell you, once you hit the soil, your life will never be the same.
I just want to say thank you so much for talking to me. I appreciate your time, and I would love to see you again some other time.